Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and today I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints 2022 draft needs. So be sure, if you enjoy this video or this episode of the podcast, to please like, comment, share, subscribe, and leave a rating. We go live each and every single day on Facebook and YouTube. Our top tier, high quality podcast is available to listen to every single day as well on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, any and every podcast streaming platform you can think of. You can find our show. Just look at 100 Football. That's thanks to the Believe Podcast Network for all the hard work they've been doing with us for a little bit over a year now. We thank them so much for that. Also, please go check out our Instagram account at 100 Football for clips of all of our shows. And we just thank you all so much for subscribing to our Facebook and YouTube page and everywhere else. We have seen a tremendous amount of growth over the last week, month, year, and it would not be possible without you, the fans, being involved and interacting with our content. If you have any video ideas, please drop a comment. We love listening to our fans and seeing what they enjoy and what you all want to enjoy. So please, if you want to compare draft classes, if you want us to look at a historic player, a coach, a team, put it in the comments and we will get around to it at a future date. So enough chitter chatter. Let's get into it. The New Orleans Saints 2022 draft needs. And before I get into the Saints and what they need in the draft per se, let's go back. Let's go into free agency and see how the Saints have done, who all they've picked up, who they've lost, and how they're looking currently at the time we're recording this video in April before the draft. So last year, the New Orleans Saints had a 9-8 record, pretty solid overall, and a division in which, was ran by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let's see who they have re-signed first and foremost. The Saints were busy this offseason. They had a ton of players under contract who were either up for an extension or who were going to leave in free agency. But let's talk about the ones who are coming back to NOLA. Jordan Miller, the cornerback, is coming back. Jalen Dalton, the defensive lineman. Shy Tuttle, defensive lineman. Ethan Greenidge, the left tackle. Deontay Hardy, the wide receiver. Carl Granderson, the edge rusher. Jawan Johnson, the wide receiver. Albert Huggins, the defensive lineman. We got Traquan Smith, the wide receiver. We also have gentlemen such as Jameis Winston, the quarterback for this upcoming year. Bradley Roby, the cornerback. And those are all the gentlemen they have re-signed from last year's roster. Let's move on to some guys who have retired, who are still free agents, and who are still looking for contracts at the moment of this recording. So let's see who all still needs a contract and who could potentially re-sign and keep going here. So Blake Bortles is gone. He got released the other day to make way for Andy Dalton, who they now signed, and some guys they are still waiting. Brett Mayer, the kicker. Lil Jordan Humphrey, the wide receiver. Christian Ringo, Jalen Holmes, and Caleb Benioch are all looking for that contract. Ken Crawley, and also we have guys like Jeff Heath, James Carpenter, Jordan Mills, Kenny Stills, Quan Alexander, Dwayne Washington, PJ Williams to round out the list there for guys who are looking for that next contract, maybe from New Orleans or from a different team. Now let's look at the guys who have came over from a different squad, or some of the guys who are going to hopefully contribute this upcoming year. Marcus May, the safety, coming over from the New York Jets. I already mentioned Andy Dalton, the veteran quarterback. Daniel Sorensen, the safety, is coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Taco Charlton, what a great name, right? Coming over from the Steelers, the edge rusher is. We also have Jaleel Johnson, defensive lineman from the Texans. J.P. Holtz, the tight end from the Bears, is coming on over. Kentavious Street, the edge rusher from the 49ers, is coming over as well. And now let's look at the guys who have left the Saints and went on to different teams. Garrett Griffin, the tight end, went to the Detroit Lions. We have guys like Trevor Siemian, who's going to the Bears. We also have Ty Montgomery, the running back, going over to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. We have also some more gentlemen like Marcus Williams, the safety. He went to the Ravens in Baltimore. And also the left tackle, Teron Armstead, went to out there in sunny Florida, in Miami, with the Dolphins. So that is your list of, at the moment, right, guys who have left, guys who have resigned, and also some players who still need that next contract for this upcoming season. But let's get into the draft needs. What do they need? How can they improve? So let's look at the draft picks they have, because, man, I tell you, earlier in the week, you can check it out now, we did an episode about the Philadelphia Eagles and their draft needs. And that was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours prior to the blockbuster trade between the Saints and the Eagles for draft picks. So currently looking at the Saints right now, they have a couple of picks, right? They have pick round 1, number 16 overall. Then they have pick 19 in the first round. So 2 first-round picks there. Going into the second round, they have pick number 49. In the third round, pick 98. In the fourth round, pick 120. In the fifth round, pick 161. In the sixth round, pick 194. And that is it, I believe. So a handful of picks here. You got a lot to work with. 2 first-round picks. You really got to hit it on the head this year if you want to succeed and if you want to get better in the NFC South. So who do the Saints need to draft? What do they need to get in order to get better this year, in order to improve, and in order to really try and get over that hump of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think one of the first things they need to look for, all in all, is some offensive linemen. Like I mentioned, you lost Teron Armstead, your left tackle. You're going to need someone who can help out there. So it's always good to get some protection at your line of scrimmage and some guys. There's a ton of very solid offensive tackles, offensive linemen in general that the Saints can look at and that can draft in order to help protect Jameis Winston, who is coming off of a major injury and who will need as much protection as possible this year. I know the Saints they have a stacked quarterback room at the moment, so I don't see them go with a quarterback just to sit for a season. I could see them desperately waiting till next year, so that's why I'm not going to put a quarterback on the list, because they look like they are going to settle with Jameis Winston, and Jameis is a solid player. So I am not going to put a quarterback on my list. I think the next group you need to look at is the wide receiving core. There are a couple of free agents out there, and there are a couple of guys on your team they have not re-signed. But most importantly, right, Michael Thomas didn't play last year. I mean, he is your true number 1 receiver, and he did not play. Taysom Hill is being converted into a tight end, and I think that with those 2 first-round picks, you can really help out your offense, get a good offensive lineman, and then get a solid wide receiver prospect in with those 2 picks in the top 20. I think that would really help out the Saints this upcoming year by helping out at those categories. Keeping it rolling here, who else do the Saints need in order to get even better and to improve? I think that also, like I said, you got the you got the offensive lineman, you got the wide receiver. I also think that the Saints need to keep it going, right? I think they need a little bit of help on defense as well, maybe a defensive tackle, and to really help out there, get some pressure on your quarterback and get some tackles for loss as well. So go with a defensive tackle presence. There's a good bit of them in the draft as well. They also need, maybe a tight end, right? I don't know how the Taysom Hill experience is going to work, but you could always, like I say, you have a couple of picks to play around with, so you could always go with a tight end to help out. They're very valuable as well. So I think that overall, those are pretty solid. I think that you could also maybe sprinkle in a running back if you could maybe get one later round. We all know that running backs are kind of, I would say, undervalued in this game currently. It's more of a pass-happy league, but you could always find some solid running back pieces in there. But I think the Saints, if they can really do good in this draft, go with some offensive linemen, some wide receivers, some defensive linemen, and whatnot, I think the Saints could really potentially shock some people this year. With Jameis hopefully fully healthy, recovered from that scary injury, I think that the Saints and Coach Dennis Allen could maybe do some work this year. It's going to be interesting to see, but please drop a comment. Who do you think the Saints will draft? Where do you think they will go this year? How far will they go? Will they make the playoffs? How far? We love to interact with the fans here at 100 Yards of Football. And like I said, we couldn't do any of this without you, our fans. I think that overall the Saints have a decent core. They can improve some. Like I said, they've lost some guys to free agency. They've lost some guys to retirement. So it's going to be interesting to see. We're still not used to that. I know I'm still not. That new regime, right, without Drew Brees, without Sean Payton, it's still a little bit offsetting. But, everything has to happen. That's the way football works. That's the way life works. You just got to move on and continue on to your next goal. And I think with the Saints, like I said, having those now 2 top picks in the top 20, you got to hit it right if you want to compete in the NFC South this upcoming year. Like I said, drop a comment. Who do you think the Saints will get? Where do you think they will go? Will it be a certain group that I mentioned? Will it be another group? Please drop a comment. We'd love to interact with you, the fans. Like I said, you can check us out on our podcast every single day as well at 100 Football, available anywhere to download: Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio. You name it, we are available for download each and every single day, thanks to the Believe Podcast Network. Also, check out the Facebook, check out the YouTube for daily uploads, daily videos on draft prospects, draft specials, history specials, legends interviews. Really, I go through this every single time, but I honestly mean it. Anything and everything sports related, because we upload close to 20 videos per week, and we've been doing that for quite some time now. So we are covering a ton of football information. So go to our Facebook and YouTube, check us out. Check out our Instagram at 100 Football for clips of our shows. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, for supporting on all of our channels. And we couldn't do this without you. Like I said, I've been your host, Logan Landers, talking about the New Orleans Saints 2022 draft needs. Until next time, we will see you later here on 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. Have a good day, everyone.